This video concerns a really sad and shocking case that went on in Limerick District Court a few days ago. This man, a foreigner, he goes around the town. He has to leave the homeless shelter at 9 o'clock every morning and he can't come back till 9 that night. But previously he was in McGarry house and he got thrown out of there. But if you see him walking around, he's in corners, talking to himself, shouting, screaming at cars passing. In other words, as the years went on of all this abuse, out at 9, back at 9, hail, rain or snow, he's going mad. I'll try to explain it better. He was in court and he was up for about 7 or 8 Section 6's threatening abusive behaviours to the guards, and Section 4 drunk and disorderly and being aggressive going round the town. The man is mentally, he's on the next best thing to being insane. But he was defending himself, and at least the guard was having a little giggle because he couldn't, his English isn't great, and when he was sitting down, the judge twigged it. I'm dealing with a man that's on the verge of insanity. She kept saying at least 5 times, because when the guard was giving evidence, he was saying, I didn't do it, I know it. They come to me and they're lying and all that. So that's the way he was talking. But every few minutes when he thought no one was looking, he'd start mumbling to himself here, and he'd look over and he'd be, but the judge twigged it, and about 5 times during his hearing, he pleaded not guilty. The judge kept saying every few minutes, I can't continue with this. I don't think this man is capable of defending himself. She knew he wasn't full faculties, like. But it got so bad. This is the worst part now. This is the scandal of the case, and the state have him now. The man is in trouble. It got so bad that the judge, after saying 5 times, I can't have enough of it, he's not capable, the judge said to the prosecution inspector, have you any evidence concerning this man's ability to continue defending himself? Do you know what that judge allowed, and what the guard, the inspector, did? She says, hold on a minute, Judge. She walked back to the court, the back of the court, where a woman was sitting with a couple of guards. The woman had made a statement against him that he was threatening her, stalking her, abusing her every time she passed, because he got thrown out of McGarry house and she was a senior staff in McGarry house. So obviously every time he seen her, he blamed her for getting thrown out, and he was abusive and threatening and all that. But he's not the full shilling. The prosecution guard whispered in her ear, and he said, Judge, yes, I can address that issue of his ability. So he called the main witness, the independent outside guards, the main independent witness against him. She went into the box and she was asked about his mental ability to conduct his defence. She said they tried to assess him in McGarry house because he was deteriorating mentally, and he headbutted the doctor and he got thrown out and he abused her verbally. She then went on to say that he's stalking her, he's abusing her. You nearly needed a handkerchief listening to what she was saying. Every time he sees her on the street, he's screaming, yo, yo, yo. The man he's on the verge of insanity. But the main witness against you should not have to give evidence. A doctor should have given evidence. The guard should have had medical evidence. They caught the witness that was giving evidence against him. But anyway, to speed it up, the judge put it back for 2 days. After the 2 days then he turned up Thursday morning. She convicted him of everything. She gave him 3 months, 4 months, 6 months. And she kept saying, your own bond, your own bond. That means you sign a signature for your appeal. However, she picked one charge and she put cash bail on it. Now why say your own bond in 5 or 6, probably 10 charges that you got convicted of, and say on the last one I want cash security of €100? That meant he was going into custody. First of all, he didn't know how to pay this case. He was talking to himself, mumbling away, schizophrenic. He has that anyway, but it's going to go to insanity. The cash bail was putting him into custody, because when she done that, the guards gathered around him and he's looking, hasn't a clue what's going on. And just before they directed him to the holding cells, the judge, of her own initiative, this was her plan, totally illegal, she says, I'd like to recommend that this man receive all medical attention the minute he goes into prison. She was getting him assessed. That was her plan. How can a major witness give evidence as to your ability if you're up for verbally assaulting or spitting at her, screaming abuse at her from across the road? That man now, this is my reading of it, that man, when he hit the gates of Limerick prison, he would have been aggressive to officers. They'll be aggressive, fine and fast, back to him. He's now in solitary confinement, talking to walls. He's probably now in Dundrum. So if the judge ordered him to be assessed, she should have stopped the trial when she knew. She indicated she knew. I can't, she said, I'm going to stop it. He's not capable. If the man was on the verge of insanity, you're not capable of defending yourself. So what the system done was, we lock him up, we convict him, lock him up, and we get him assessed. I don't think that man will ever see daylight again, because once you go to Dundrum, he'll probably be inside anyway for the certain officers, because he'll be verbally abusing them and they'll verbally abuse him back and probably give him a few digs and kicks, and he's been more charges. But you see the way the system, the judge allowed the main witness, the main independent witness outside guards, to give evidence as to your mental ability to conduct your defence. That's corruption at the highest level. I hope that man gets out, and I hope he's alright, but I think that he's going to be signed off. He's insane. I was going to do a documentary before this case about the homeless, and just by luck I recorded him talking to himself. And that's a fact before I even knew the man was in court. And I'll show you a clip of him going around talking to himself. There's a man there now. He used to leave the place every morning at 9 o'clock. He walks around town till 9 tonight, homeless, nowhere to go. Hail, rain or snow, he's there now since about 9:15 this morning. He's actually talking to himself. God help us. He's actually talking to himself.